Welcome back to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. It is Brent Daniels, and I've got a phenomenal interview with a phenomenal TTP student today. But before we get into that, we are now in the final quarter of 2018. This is the last 90 days in 2018, and every time I get to the third quarter or the fourth quarter of every single year, I'm reminded of a coach that I had in real estate. And she would make me every fourth quarter, she would make me write down a letter, right? And it would talk about the past year. So it's future pacing the next year. So it would literally be written like it was 2019, and it has everything that I accomplished that year already written out. And it's such a powerful, powerful, powerful little exercise to do, because what it does is it sets your intentions already. It sets your mindset on the path that you want to go in the next 12 months. So I highly encourage everybody to just sit down, grab a piece of paper, and just write, as of whatever date it is, whenever you're listening to this, as of today, 2019, this is what I have accomplished in the last 12 months, and just watch what happens in the next 12 months, and I want you to read that every single day. Look at that, have it somewhere where you can see it every single day, because it's going to help direct you and your intentions and the actions you take for the next 12 months. And also, I had a phenomenal call this morning with one of my TTP students, Daryl, and he told me a great thing. He said, Brent, the only thing we need to have in this business is the courage to ask the question. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, we have to have the courage to ask the question, would you consider an offer on your property? And I thought that was just so beautiful. Daryl Moore, thank you so much for giving me that little bit. You learn so much from the students as much as they learn from me, but it's just phenomenal. So with that, talking about somebody that asks the question on a regular basis, from Richmond, Virginia, Adonijah Delancey. There you are, brother. How are you?
How you doing, Brent?
Good.
Per-
I am doing awesome, man. Let's talk about the courage to pick up the phone. Let's talk about the courage to get into the wholesaling business. Let's talk about the courage that you've had to kind of redesign your life to this business. So kind of give me your background. Tell everybody about you.
All right, so my name is Adonijah, or Adonijah, as some would say. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and growing up, my family was always around, and everybody had that business mentality. Go to work, go to school, get a good job. The regular mentality that you're supposed to have, as they say in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But when I got to college, I think I started off doing computer information systems, so like CIS.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was kind of into, like the technology side of things. And I said, man, this isn't really for me, So I changed my major to like entrepreneurial management, and it just kind of went from there. My mindset was just like, man, I don't want to work anymore. I kind of want to run my own business. And
Sure.
one day, I was talking with my line brother in my fraternity. He was talking to me last year, about 7 or 8 months ago, about wholesaling, somebody that he knew that was doing it. And I said, man, I think I'm interested. And literally while we were talking, the whole time we're on the phone, I'm already on Google searching, researching wholesaling. What is it about? How do you make money? How do you do it? Is it real? Like, just seeing all these testimonies, people saying, yeah, it's real, blah, blah, blah. And I actually reached out to somebody who's a tribe member, and she gave me some direction, what I should listen to, what worked for her. She said she listened to a lot of Wholesaling Inc, the podcast. So, I went and I started listening to it, and I just loved the end, man, like, we see how I can make it work for myself. And
Sure.
that's how that went.
Awesome.
And that's kind of how, and now I'm just trying to scale my business. I came across some good big ones, and I'm just trying to scale it, man, and make it consistent, and eventually be on vacation getting paid.
I love it. So right now, is it just you? Are you a one-man show?
I actually have an acquisitions manager.
Okay.
Shout out to him. He actually helped me find that last deal. But yeah, he's my acquisitions manager. Not too much on his plate right now, but I do have him making the calls for me along with myself. So we'll scale up eventually. Well, pretty soon. I'm
Sure.
just trying to really things in order. But yeah, it's
I,
me and and my wife. My wife as well. She's part of my team too.
nice. I love it. Family business. Good. That is smart. You're a smart man. So, who does what? So you said that you guys both make calls. Who are you calling?
All right, so just a breakdown on this. Right now, I have him in charge of my high equity owner occupied list.
Okay.
So I try to refresh that every 2 weeks. We just started the campaign like a week and a half ago or so, and we're just about finished with it. But that's what he's doing. He's reaching out to those people and trying to get the motivation or just build rapport with some people, and maybe we could follow up within the near future. As for myself, I'm kind of handling the turd list, as you like to say, like
Mm-hmm.
delinquents, probates, what else? Driving for dollars, one of my favorites. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm handling. And then whenever I get a deal or whenever I get a hold of somebody and, they have that motivation, I dish it over to him and I have him put it, get everything ready for us to market it and send it out to some of our buyers. He's also in charge of getting 2 buyers a day.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
So how is he finding buyers in your marketplace? Because I think on these podcasts we often talk a lot about finding the sellers and providing value and finding what their distress is and really pre-qualifying them and getting them figured out. But how are you building up your cash buyer database? Because that is what makes or breaks the biggest deals. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right because what works for this buyer might not work for the other one. You know what I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. But the way how we've been reaching out to a lot of our buyers is we do I have him on a rotated schedule every day. Also in terms of my marketing, so he's reaching out to to the majority of like um, the we buy sell trade things and on Facebook on the Facebook
Sure.
market. So he's marketing to people that want to sell homes, and he's also marketing to people that want to buy homes. And then as for Craigslist, is literally the same exact thing. So we send that out about 3 times a day, and we're bound to get like 2 or 3 emails a day of somebody that wants to be added to our buyers list. And then we go ahead and filter those out. I build a relationship, see how serious they are, because not every buyer is a buyer. But we go ahead and do that, and somehow we get them in a nice list, and they're part of our list. We
So
talk to
one,
them.
got it. So when they become part of your list, when you get a deal and they might be interested in, how do you reach out to them? Like, what is your technique for making sure that they see your deal? Because I mean, obviously, people do email blasts. We all get those. People do text blasts. We all get those. I mean, are you calling them up specifically, seeing if they want it? And if you are, do you kind of pigeon? Do you? How do you make sure you don't pigeonhole yourself into selling it to them? If a couple other people want it, you know what I mean, to get the most out of every deal.
Okay. Well, one thing I like to do is, aside from asking them, what kind of money they use to purchase some of these properties, because that to me that's kind of big. Depending on if you're borrowing money or whatever the case may be. I just want to know what type of buyer you are, what area you're in, what type of work have you done so far. If you don't mind, let's look at some of your work. What type of work are you into? Do you like big projects, small projects, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms? Like what is it that you like? And that's kind of how I filter and cipher through who's serious or not, because they'll tell me, a lot of buyers would give you some specific detail as to where they like to buy and what they like to buy. So just based off of that, if they fit that criteria and they're very detailed and they're like, yeah, I want this type of property here, and I do go out and I find that, or he finds it, or just somebody brings it to me,
Mm-hmm.
send it to them, that'll tell how serious they are. From there, they'll be like, what, let's close on this thing, like next week or whatnot. But I
Yep.
mean, that's kind of my system's been going so far. I haven't been doing a crazy amount of deals, which is why I
Sure.
joined TTP, just to get things and really start scaling my business up. But from the pace that we're going right now, I think that's kind of been working with how we build our relationships with our buyers, and when we find something nice for them, we get it to them, and we haven't had a problem getting rid of it. And
Awesome.
I use Mailchimp. That's the app that I've been using, along with and that's to blast to them. And if it's somebody that's part of our like our what's the list? What do I like? My VIP list.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'll call them and say, hey, look, I got this in this area, and I kind of shoot it out to them before everybody else.
Yeah, there's huge value knowing that they're going to get the deal done. They're going to close on it. It's going to be lit. Sometimes, I mean, especially here in Phoenix, it's the buyers that we sell to buy sight unseen. You know what I
Right.
mean? They just go for it. They know what they're up against. They know their budgets. They know how much they can handle and what they can make on it, and they can make a decision so quickly. It's incredible. But it takes time to establish those relationships and see who is really legitimate and who's not, and who's wasting your time. And I think, for anybody out there, whenever you get a buyer on the hook or you have somebody that wants that assignment, you have to make sure they put their non-refundable earnest money in ASAP, because that's going to tell you whether or not they're going to move forward with it, or if they're just trying to sell your deal to somebody else, or if they're just trying to lock it up and kind of scramble and put things together. If they put their earnest money, what you want to be listening for is, this is from a cash buyer, I'm literally driving to the title company right now with a check. Send me the assignment. I'll sign it on my phone, DocuSign. That's what you want to hear from these guys. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, right?
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That actually is on the money right there for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, anybody could say that they want the deal, but until they got skin in the game, until they show that they are legitimate and they know the process and they can go and respect your time and respect that you can sell this to somebody else, and you want to build a little bit of tension there, right? You want to build a little bit that says, hey, man, if you want this property, you gotta pull the trigger now, because I've got a couple other people that I think would really be interested in it,
I completely agree.
right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree because the person that puts that money down is the one that's going to buy the house.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
You know
So
that, that yeah.
yeah. Do you sell the properties? Who's in charge of disposition?
Oh, me. That's still me right now. That's still all me. Like I said, I'm gonna scale it up and get things going. I feel like your class is extremely informative. I was actually just looking at it maybe 10, 15 minutes before you called me. I was just trying to refresh my mind on some of the stuff that you spoke about in terms of scaling the business, because that's really what I'm trying to do in
Yep.
these coming months, especially for this fourth quarter. Like, I mean, I always hear what you say in all of your podcasts. Like, this is your favorite quarter. So I said, I'm going to try to make it mine too.
Yep.
When everyone's sleeping, I'm going to be awake, still trying to get those deals. But I'm in charge of my disposition right now. So, um, normally once he gets things on the lead sheet from the call, if it's somebody that has that motivation, and I listen to the call and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to make an appointment with them. I'll go ahead and I'll set up the appointments and stuff. I just don't want to put too much on his plate because he's still working full time.
Of course.
So the amount of things that he's doing right now, I think is literally perfect. And then I still have my wife too, so we're kind of knocking some things out here at the house. But for sure, I'm in charge of that and everything else in terms of closing it and
Awesome.
stuff. But we'll take on that role soon.
Yeah, and something just as a thought. I mean, any of the big time fix and flippers or developers or anything, they are buying in the fourth quarter to set up their first quarter of 2019. They start buying it up. They start buying it up. They start unloading all those. If you see in wholesaling in some markets, there's a little bit of a slump there in going from the summertime, and that's because they're getting ready to sell all of their stuff during the fall, and then after that they need to reload, and during the fall that's when they start picking things up. October, November, December, I'm telling you, it is huge. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. I mean, even push it down even more. I think you're being really smart about that. That's
I
really, really
will.
great. So what give me your daily schedule. What does that look like?
My daily schedule. So I wake up, get my prayers in. I normally I try to get some reading in for like an hour. At least an hour of reading. I like to go to the gym. I've skipped a few weeks, but I'm I'm about to get back. It's so easy to forget about the gym, but
Sure.
gym is in there too. And a lot of times on my way home from the gym, driving for I like to get some driving for dollars in, get some addresses going. I get back home for about around 11:30 or 12, make some phone calls to the previous day because, like I said, it's he makes phone calls. Well, he makes phone calls in the afternoon. I try to get the morning time. So
Good.
between 12 and like 3ish, I like to bang out some phone calls, do my follow ups or whatnot. Then he comes on, he does his phone calls, and I pretty much get my skip trace for the addresses that I just went driving for dollars for, and that's kind of how my system has been rolling so far. And if we have a meeting in between, in between the week, we make sure we get that set up too. We do a lot of door knocking too for the people that we can't reach. So that kind of all happens in that more towards 6 o'clock ish or whatnot when it's just me. But that's kind of my system right now.
Love
And
it.
yeah, man. So it's only getting
Proactive all day.
yeah all day, man. Sometimes my nights literally turn into mornings like a lot. I'm up all night sometimes just thinking of things and just really trying to set things up for my family and I mean this business, man, it's amazing business and your mind just starts racing and thinking of more creative ways to do things to just make more.
It's
So
exciting. It is an exciting business, and we make a ton doing it. So, break down a deal for us. Give us the real deal here. Give us a deal that you recently closed, and kind of pull back everything and let us let us get really inside of it.
all right, so yeah, I'll start literally from the beginning. So my acquisitions manager went out driving for dollars one day. He came across a property in a neighborhood that's really 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 hot. Like, I mean, it's a good neighborhood. I mean, not everybody's going there, but if you get something there, you're gonna get some, you'll get a good deal out of there. So he went driving for dollars, sent it to me. We skip traced it. We are looking for the number, looking for the number. We finally got the numbers. Can never get a hold of him on the phone. I mean, like, never. So one day I said, man, we might just have to go over to that house. And that's exactly what he did. The very next day, he went over to the house, knocked on the door,
Mm-hmm.
and just dropped off one of my business cards or a flyer that we have. Just dropped it off. They weren't really, I guess they weren't really trying to have a conversation right then and there. They might have been busy. But after that, I'd say, it was like a week later. I think I was on my way home from like picking up some food or something, and I got a phone call. So I answered the phone, and it's like, hey, it's such and such. Are you Adonijah? I'm like, yeah, it's me. How can I help you? She's like, we got a flyer about you being interested in our house in that neighborhood. Are you still interested? I'm like, yeah. How can we talk? Or no, how can I come see it? I want to get inside.
Sure.
She's like, well, we're free. Just come by whenever you're ready. I said, okay, I'll be there in like an hour. So, I got dressed, went over there, and then I went over there. We looked at the house. We talked. The whole time we're talking, I'm just looking at all the pictures she had in there. I mean, it's a bunch of antiques. The house turns out to be, it was vacant. Her, their mom, she's in a home or whatnot, so she can't really function and take care of things herself. So they ended up being the POAs of the house. So,
Yeah.
well, daughter was a POA. So that's who I was talking to. We're talking, and then now it's time to discuss the numbers or whatnot. And I'm just like, how can we make this work? Literally, I mean, that conversation lasted for like, it was like 30 to 40 minutes. No, like, it was so real that once I left and I told my acquisitions manager, okay, boom, this is how much we got it for. He sends back like the big eyes, like, that's what he said, that's what a motivated seller looks like. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I mean, when they want to get rid of the house, they just want to get rid of it. You don't waste any time. But
Yep.
but anyway, so we talked, and I asked her what number kind of would make her happy. I'm trying to get real low. 65 will make me happy, but I'd still be kind of good at 80 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, we wanted like 95 or something like that. That's what her husband said. He said, we would love to get like 95. This was like a couple years ago, but we know things have changed now. And I'm just like, I mean, 95 just wouldn't work for me, but
Yeah.
just give me a low number. And she was like, I wouldn't want to go any lower than 75, I think she said.
Yep.
And that worked. I didn't want to really argue with her. I just was just like, if that'll make you happy, I mean, I can do it for you. And we did that. We went on ahead and assigned it for 50K on a JV and made 25K from that.
Ooh, wait a second. You did the total sale was 125, and you got half of it. You got 25,000 on that deal right there, right?
And the even cooler thing, man, is that the
Hold on. Ring
yeah,
that bell.
yeah,
There we go. I
yeah,
love it,
man.
man.
Wanted to hear that, man. But the even cooler thing about that, man, is that the buyer says that if he sells it at even higher than the ARV that we told him,
Yeah.
he's willing to split that with us. So we'll win even more.
Love it,
So it was
man. That is a
pretty,
huge deal. Yep.
yeah, it was amazing, man. I mean, God, man, he did that for me. So
Yep.
I was
Yep.
able to help somebody, and they were happy. They said, "Man, this happened so fast," and I was like, "I know, and this is how the business goes."
Yeah.
So hopefully, come back to me soon. We're looking at a house right in the neighborhood again, so maybe we'll get some. Maybe they'll tell them to sell it to us.
Love it. So after you get a big check like that, how do you stay consistent? How do you stay hungry? How do you stay focused on next getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? You know what I mean? Like I know those big checks can sometimes like blow you back a little bit and all of a sudden you're like, "Yeah, I got this thing down. I'm going to just, I'm going to chill for a second." But it doesn't sound like that's what you guys are doing. It sounds like you guys still are still staying hungry and going after it.
Got to, man. You always want to multiply. So whatever I did the first time that got it for me, I'm just gonna do it again. But
Yep.
this time I can just invest a little more and get a lot more and reach out to a lot more people. So I'm definitely trying to multiply. A lot of the expenses are going back into the business for sure because I don't want to stop there. I need it. I want that feeling of having. I want to have like 5, 6 deals in escrow a week. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I that feeling.
Yep.
Not 2, 3, but I want to have that feeling. The only way to have that feeling is for me to be consistent and just try new things because not every day you come across 25K.
Right. Well, and you got to consistently be talking to new people, right? You got to be consistently adding new people to your pipeline of lead follow up because, yeah, you got that deal and you closed it out, but how many leads do you have to replace that with? Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20. You know what I mean? It's not one for one when it comes to your pipeline because, you don't close everybody that's in your pipeline. You got to just keep refilling and refilling and refilling. That's what makes it so exciting. That's what makes it so like bananas when we get one of these deals and we get paid a ton is okay. Now we got to keep going. We got to like start every day at absolute zero. Like we have no money, we have no leads, we have no opportunities. And if we do that, if we start every day at zero, then we can start just building, 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 building. And then, yeah, of course, you get to the point where you're doing 3 to 5 a week. You know what I mean? You get up to like a month where you close 15, 20 deals. That's life changing, man. I mean, that's life changing money.
I can only imagine, man. But
Yep.
I must say, I mean, just picking up that phone and actually making a phone call to make an effort to get a hold of those people is, I mean, that alone was life changing. I mean, we speak to tons of people every day, and I just feel like that's the easiest way to market and really get a hold of some of these people that might want to sell their house. I can me personally, I haven't really done big on doing the mail. I just feel like that's a lot of follow up, and maybe it works for some people, but for me, I like to talk to people. I like to get
Yeah.
face to face conversations. That's all for me, man. So once I saw this program, I said it's a no brainer. I got to give it a try.
Love it. Love it. So now I'm going to put you on the spot here because this is the hot seat podcast. Let's talk about you putting together. You're looking back. You're writing your letter for the next 12 months in 2019. What does it say on there that you accomplished in the next 12 months? What does it say on there that just gets you fired up? How many deals? How much income? What does your business look like? What does your life look like? Give it to us here on the podcast. Putting you on the hot seat, man.
All right, man. So for one, it's saying that my business is making $100,000 a month. All right, that's number one. Number two, my family is completely well taken care of. We're probably in Thailand, looking at wired funds from a deal that just closed earlier this week. We're doing about 6 to 7 deals weekly. What else, man? We have over 3,000 buyers in the market.
Yep.
We're touching markets in the interstates. We're selling houses to Brent in Phoenix.
That's right.
That
Yeah.
we're definitely locking up some rental properties for sure. I want at least 10.
Mm-hmm.
I want 10 rental properties just to get that mailbox money really flowing.
Yep.
And I still kind of want to do a couple flips too. So
Yeah.
hope that within that 12 months, I can get my hands on 1 or 2 flips within the year. But
Awesome.
wholesaling is going to be at an all-time high for our company. That's kind of the vision that I have, 100K a month.
Love it. And you'll get there. I'm telling you, you will get there. Absolutely. So, how do people get a hold of you if they want to reach out? Do you have a Instagram? Do you have a Facebook? Email? How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely on Facebook. It's my name, Adonijah Delancey. Just look me up, Adonijah Delancey. I only know one other Adonijah, and he went to high school with me. How ironic. But yeah, so and as for Instagram, it's my business name, For Real Deals LLC, the number 4 Real Deals LLC, and just check me out, man. I have a YouTube channel as well that I'm starting to get some more video content on there, but that's some good ways to reach me
How
for
do they
sure. And
how do they find your YouTube?
it's the same as my Instagram.
Adonijah?
Now for Real Deals LLC.
Okay, cool.
Yep, Real Deals LLC, and I dropped some. I have some videos up there. Literally, I have videos from me from 7 months ago when I was first starting this business. Like, I look back at that sometimes, and I'm just like, man, like, just to give people information while you're actually going through it and not getting any deals. I think that's like the most helpful thing because there's always somebody out there that can relate, and
Sure.
that's kind of why I created that YouTube page in the first place. So I got some more videos coming, about my success. I don't have much of it, but definitely the struggle is on there. So just go check it out and learn some stuff from there, man. And yeah, that's a good way to find me right there.
And to the lady or gentleman or whoever, anybody trying to break into this business, they haven't done any deals, like you mentioned, the struggle on it. What advice would you give them to keep moving forward?
Oh, that's it. Keep moving forward. I mean, don't stop. Don't stop. Seriously. I mean, it's as hard as it may seem, or as dim as that tunnel may look. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I promise. I mean, I'm not making this up. This business is 150 million% real.
Mm-hmm.
People are really changing lives and becoming successful just from doing this. And I mean, it doesn't really have to be just wholesaling houses. Maybe you wholesale a house and then use that money to invest in something that you really, really, really wanted to do. But don't quit. Definitely keep the faith. Change your mindset. And fail forward.
Love it.
That's my.
Adonijah, thank you so much for being on here. And everybody else out there, remember, write your 12-month plan. Write it today. Do it today. Take action. And remember, have courage to ask the question. That's all it comes down to. Have the courage to ask the question, would you consider an offer on your property? The more you ask that question to distressed homeowners, the more you win. It's a simple formula. So that is what we got to focus on with this podcast. I mean, just phenomenal insight here. And if you are looking to join the most proactive real estate group in the business, go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Set up a call with my team. It will be the best call you have had all year. And I hope to see you at the Wholesaling Summit in Asheville, North Carolina. You can catch me on my YouTube page as well, Brent Daniels Real Estate Coach. And until next time, I encourage you to talk to people. Love you. See ya.